Picture this. You've spent decades pouring your heart and soul into raising your children. Sleepless nights, endless sacrifices, every decision shaped by their needs. You were their rock, their guide, their everything. But now, something's shifted. They brush off your advice like it's irrelevant. They talk over you, dismiss your feelings, or, worse, treat you like you're a burden. That sting you feel? It's real, it cuts deep, and you're left wondering, where did the respect go? You might be tempted to lash out, to remind them of all you've done, to demand they see your worth. But here's the secret they don't tell you. Anger won't bring it back. Fighting only widens the gap. There's a better way, a smarter way, to reclaim the respect you deserve without a single argument. Today I'm revealing 6 game-changing steps that will flip the script and transform how your grown kids see you. These aren't just tips. They're psychological power moves backed by science and human nature. Stick with me to the end, because by the time we're done, you'll have a roadmap to rebuild your dignity, restore your voice, and step back into your rightful place as a respected figure in their lives. Let's dive in. Dive. Action 1. Stop chasing their approval. First up, let's talk about a trap too many of us fall into: chasing approval. You know the feeling, bending over backwards to make them happy, saying yes when every fiber of your being screams no. Rearranging your life just to hear a crumb of gratitude. You think, if I do enough, they'll value me. But here's the brutal truth. The more you chase, the less they respect you. Why? Because psychology tells us respect isn't born from desperation, it's forged in self-worth. A 2019 study from the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that people who constantly seek validation from others are perceived as less confident, less competent, and, crucially, less worthy of respect. When you're always giving in, always playing the peacemaker, you're sending a silent message. My needs don't matter. And guess what? They'll believe it. They'll take you for granted because you've taught them they can. So what do? Stop. Stop running after their approval like it's the key to your happiness. Set boundaries. Say no when it's warranted. Voice your opinion, even if it ruffles feathers. It's not about being stubborn, it's about showing you value yourself. When you stand tall in your own worth, something shifts in their minds. They start seeing you not as a doormat, but as a force. And that's where respect begins. Try this. Next time they ask for something unreasonable, pause. Say, I'd love to help, but I need to take care of myself too. Watch how they react. It might surprise you. Action 2, don't argue, lead by example. Now let's tackle that gut instinct to argue. They dismiss your advice, cut you off mid-sentence, or roll their eyes when you speak. You want to fight back, right? To shout, I raised you, I deserve better. But hold on, arguing is a losing battle. Science backs this up. Research from the American Psychological Association shows that confrontational debates rarely change minds. They just entrench people deeper in their positions. When you argue, you're not winning respect. You're handing them power. They see you flustered, defensive, and suddenly they're in control. Here's the smarter move: lead by example. Respect isn't won with words. It's earned through presence. Carry yourself with quiet strength. When they interrupt, don't snap. Calmly say, I'll finish my thought first. When they dismiss you, don't beg for their ear. Keep your dignity and move on. Studies on social influence, like those from Social Psychology Quarterly, show that people are drawn to those who exude confidence without needing to prove it. Think of it like this. You're not a lawyer in a courtroom, you're a lighthouse in a storm. Steady, unshaken. Over time, they'll feel your strength, not because you demanded it, but because you lived it. Next time they push your buttons, take a breath. Respond with grace, not heat. You'll see the shift. Action 3, withdraw your emotional dependence. This one's tough, but it's a game changer. Stop leaning on your kids for emotional fulfillment. You love them deeply. You want their love, their calls, their time. But when they sense you need them to feel whole, the dynamic flips. A 2021 study in family relations found that parents who rely heavily on their adult children for emotional support often face increased tension and distance. Why? Because neediness breeds burden. They don't feel honored, they feel pressured. And instead of respect, you get impatience, avoidance, or that cold, clipped tone that stings worse than silence. The fix? Build your own emotional foundation. Find joy outside their orbit. Pick up a hobby, painting, gardening, anything that lights you up. Reconnect with friends. Volunteer. When you stop waiting by the phone, something magical happens. They notice. They see you as a person, not a duty. Psychologists call this the scarcity principle. We value what's less available. When you're not clinging to their attention, they'll start seeking yours. I dare you. Spend a week focusing on yourself. No guilt trips. No hints about how much you miss them. Just live. Then watch who calls first. Action 4. Set boundaries and enforce them. Let's get real. If your kids disrespect you, it's partly because you've let them. Harsh? Maybe. True? Absolutely. People, yes, even your own flesh and blood, will treat you the way you allow. No boundaries, no respect. A 2020 study from the Journal of Family Psychology found that clear, consistent boundaries in family dynamics lead to healthier relationships and higher mutual respect. When you let them talk down to you, ignore your time, or trample your feelings, you're not keeping the peace, you're surrendering your power. Here's how to flip it. Set boundaries and stick to them. If they interrupt, say, "I'll talk when you're ready to hear me." If they demand too much, reply, "I can't do that right now." And if they cross the line, walk away. Calmly, firmly, no drama. This isn't about punishment. It's about teaching them your worth. Research shows that enforcing boundaries boosts your perceived authority. People respect those who respect themselves. Start small. Next time they overstep, don't just take it. Draw the line. They'll test it, sure, but when they see you won't budge, they'll adjust. And that's when respect creeps back in. Action 5. Stop giving without appreciation. Here's a hard pill to swallow. If you keep giving to your kids, your time, your energy, without a shred of thanks, you're not building love. You're breeding entitlement. You help with their bills, babysit at a moment's notice, drop everything for them. And what do you get? Crickets. Or worse, complaints. A 2018 study in psychological science revealed that unreciprocated generosity often leads to resentment on both sides. The giver feels used, the receiver feels entitled. When your kindness goes unnoticed, they stop seeing it as a gift and start seeing it as their right. So stop. Not out of spite, but strategy. Scale back. Help when it's mutual, not automatic. Say no when you're stretched thin. The moment your generosity becomes a choice, not a given, they'll feel its weight. Behavioral science calls this reciprocity norm. People value what they have to earn. Try this. Next time they ask for a favor, pause. Ask yourself, do they appreciate this? If not, politely decline. They might grumble at first, but soon they'll see your time isn't free, and that's when they'll start thanking you for it. Action 6. Build a life outside of them. Last but not least, stop making your kids the center of your universe. You raised them, sure, but your life doesn't end when theirs begins. If all your joy, purpose, and identity revolve around them, they'll sense it, and they'll pull away. A 2022 study from the gerontologists found that older adults with active, independent lives report higher self-esteem and stronger family ties. Why? Because people respect those who don't need them. When you're waiting for their call, their visit, their approval, they don't see a parent, they see a shadow. Change that. Build a life that's yours, join a club, travel, learn something new. Fill your days with meaning that doesn't hinge on their attention. When they see you thriving, not just surviving, they'll be drawn to you. It's human nature. We admire those who stand on their own. Start today. Sign up for one thing that excites you. Tell them about it casually, no pressure. Watch their curiosity spark. Respect follows when they see you as a person, not just mom or dad. Here's the bottom line. Respect isn't something you can beg or demand from your kid. It's something you inspire. Stop chasing their approval. It's a dead-end road. Lead with strength, not arguments. Your actions speak louder than words. Cut the emotional strings. They'll value you more when you don't need them. Set boundaries. They'll only respect what you defend. Stop giving endlessly. Make your kindness a treasure, not a given. And build a life that shines. They'll admire you when you're whole. These 6 steps aren't just advice. They're a revolution in how you show up. Do this and your kids won't just respect you. They'll see you again. The parent, the person, the powerhouse you've always been. Soft pause, warm smile in the voice. If this hit home for you, drop a comment below. Tell me which step you're starting with and why. I read every single one, and your stories keep this channel alive. If you found value here, hit that like button, subscribe, and tap the bell. We've got more insights coming your way. Share this with someone who needs it. It might just change their life too. Thanks for being here. You're not alone in this, and you've got this. See you in the next one.